This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sept passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very long while, but we here and we ready to rock. We got training camp kicking off. Well, it actually kicks off October the 1st, but media day is September 30th, right? September 30th is media day. October 1st is when practice begins, and then October the 6th is the first day of the first game, first preseason game. You know, so yeah. I've been trying to get back in the saddle for a minute, but things just keep popping up all over the place. But I think I'm good now. You know what I mean? I'm ready to hit this off Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Except for this Friday. I'll be doing tomorrow instead of Friday. And then I'll be back here on Monday, to keep things going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday up until practice and training camp actually begins. So, yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen anybody. Tony, what's poppin' with you, bro? How you feeling?
What's good, Sam? I know exactly how you feel, man. Life be lifing. You gotta take care of what you gotta take care of. But always a pleasure to share the screen. And shout out to the panel, shout out to the chat. Your Black is Time.
Yeah, no doubt. Steph?
No,
How you been?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Sam. Good to see you, Tony. You know we already doing what we do. And Ero, long time. Yeah, looking forward to the show.
No doubt. Eru, what's up, man? And let me add Ron in the building.
Mr. Ron.
You know? What's going on, Eru?
Man, same thing, man. I haven't really done too many podcasts in a while either. I think I might have did Tony's show, and I think I might have did something with Ron before I even did anything on my own show. So, you know, all season has really been off this season, man. But it's time to get busy, time to get back into the grind.
No doubt. Ron, I know Ron and Steph been super busy. I've been seeing it. They've been busy. You know what I mean? What's going on, Ron?
Oh, man, I can't complain, man. Just happy to be here. You don't know how excited I am to be back on the screen with the Firefather and the whole gang. Nothing but Knicks. We in the building.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I haven't been doing shows, but I'm so excited for the season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't been this excited in a really long. I mean, I was excited last year, but I'm super more excited this year. You know, for this upcoming season, because I think the sky is the limit with this team. You know what I mean? So much potential on this basketball team. You know what I mean? How can we not be excited about it? I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess just with who we have right now on the team, and anyone can jump in. You know, right off the bat, before we even get to training camp, are we viewed as a championship contender?
That window is open. I'll tell you that. I mean, one of the things about this team right now that we could be so excited about is you could look at this for a 4 or 5 year stretch. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, we could do something now and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have to do something now and that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's a window, and it's a lot longer than a lot of other teams out there.
Yeah. I like that. You know, that the window is so long. You know, right? It's open pretty wide. You know, for the most part. So, the Knicks will have some years to see what a team can be, build, continuously build as other teams build. You know what I mean? You got young players that can possibly turn into stars. You got mid young vets that are stars. I mean, you got a great mix on the team. Steph, what do you think? Are we championship contenders coming into the season?
Yeah, we are. We definitely are championship contenders. I like the positional versatility that we have in that starting lineup. DiVincenzo is a starter to me. I know some fans feel he's back where he should be, but in my mind, he's a starter that's coming off the bench. And I think that just really helps. We have some injury protection on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bench, our 6 through 9, maybe even 10, is as good or better than any 6 through 10 in the league. And we got Tom Thibodeau, who I think is one of the best. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're in a
yeah,
good place.
yeah. I mean, shoot, some of your bad teams, our bench might be better than their starters.
Mhm,
For real, to be honest with you,
mhm.
you know, Ebro, what do you think?
I'm just so happy that we don't have to grind anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like fight, like just like throw the season in kind of cruise control. We kind of already know we have a good team, so we don't
Mm-hmm.
have to like worry about who's doing this, who's doing that. We kind of just already have it going. So this is like the first time since like Ewing's been around that we can like literally sit back and just let things just go and actually have fun. Like the post game shows that you guys do, man, they're gonna be like a whole different thing,
It
instead of
is.
all the stress every night. You know what I'm saying?
Until we
Yeah.
lose 2 in a row,
Gonna be
Ebro.
some,
Until we
yeah,
lose 2 in a row.
exactly.
Yeah.
As soon as we hit a streak, it's gonna be there. You can
Yeah.
believe that. You know what I mean? Somebody's gonna have to get traded as soon as we hit a losing streak.
Yeah.
Ron, what do you think, man?
Sim, I'm sorry, but they already talk about trades. I don't want to hear nothing about trades right now.
Yeah, I know. What do you think, Ron? Where we at?
Man, I'm super, super excited. This is probably, we've been through a lot as Knicks fans. Some of us that are a little older than others that have seen a lot of bad basketball and some really good basketball. But I haven't, as I've talked about in the past, I don't think I've ever been old enough to understand and see the process go from where it was to where it is now. So I appreciate this so much more. And the fact that we are here, 20 something days away from training camp or whatever it is. I mean, I guess they're starting early stuff soon, but I'm just super excited. I mean, how every offseason we go into it, man. What else can we do? Can we get this piece? We need something to get us over some hump of what. This year is the one year I could say, yeah, I know we need the backup center, but I'm even feeling good without the backup center. Like this is the best I've seen a Knicks team that I've watched be built. So I don't know, man. It's like I think that's what a lot of people feel like around town when they're talking about the Knicks. Is like they feel like they're a part of this one. It's a little different than the
Right.
90s.
Right.
Some of us were too young to see it being built. We just was watching it as it was already done.
Yeah.
But this is different.
Yeah.
I watched that one be built.
I
though.
watched it be built too.
I wasn't trying to do that stuff. I wasn't trying to look.
I watched it be built. I mean, besides the center position, the backup center position, is there anything else that the team needs? Besides that, I mean, that is glaring because Hartenstein is gone, right? And so we got a small center in Precious. Is there anything else that the Knicks team that we need besides that?
That in health, and we good.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, so just looking at the offseason, is everybody happy with everything with the offseason besides Isaiah Hartenstein? I mean, I know that was a big blow for the Knicks.
I mean, there's question marks. I'll say that. You know what I mean? If you want to like deep dive, I think one of the main ones, other than the center position, what I think we'll probably talk about in depth, but the clarity in the roles between Tyler, Deuce,
Yeah.
Cam.
I mean Cam. Thank you. That and rotation minutes. You know what I mean? Distribution. I mean, those are probably the two big ones for me.
That's going to be a tough one for Tom Thibodeau. The minutes distribution, I think, is going to be, he's got a lot to think about when you're looking at the minutes distribution. With so many players, the roster is pretty deep. if you do find a way to get a backup center, I guess if you find a way to get a backup center, that probably means one or two guys are being moved anyway, right? Because they're not signing one, so that means they're gonna have to trade for one if they're gonna bring one in. So one or two guys will probably be moved, which might clean up a little bit of a logjam that's already out there. When we talk about the backup guards, I really want to talk about that because there's a lot of backup guards on the team. You know what I mean? It's going to be funny to see how that shakes out. Now, someone like Campaign, he may have come in saying, you know what, I'm cool with being an insurance policy. I don't know. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of backup guards on his team, and if he is your insurance policy, he's a good experienced guy to have as your insurance policy at the guard spot. You know what I mean? But there's a I don't know. There's a lot of I think there are some question marks when you come to the backup guard spots.
Did anybody check out Campaign's backstory, or because I was unfamiliar with it prior to him getting here? But if you look at his backstory, I could definitely see him just kind of being grateful and saying, yeah, I'll be an insurance policy, wait my turn. I ain't stirring nothing up. I'm gonna be a good teammate. You know what I mean? Be the loudest cheerleader and almost like what was the guy, Theo Penson, but with more game, if you will, no disrespect. You know what I mean? Like a better insurance policy in that way, but I'm gonna be the biggest cheerleader. I could definitely see him doing that.
Yeah,
he's competitive though.
Oh, go ahead. What'd you say, Steph?
I think he's competitive though. I don't think he's coming in waving the towel. I think he's coming in trying to get some minutes. However, if he doesn't get it, I think he would be a good soldier.
Right.
He's done that in Phoenix too. He's always been, when he was dancing around with Mikal Bridges and stuff, he's always been that guy to get everybody together. But he's shown too, like through injuries and stuff, that he was able to start some games and give them good minutes and stuff, double figures in scoring, that type of thing. So he could contribute. But this is all on Tom Thibodeau though, man. He's gonna figure it out. He's definitely gonna have that tight rotation, and whatever decisions he make, that's he has no excuse, but he doesn't have an easy job. That's gonna be really hard trying to figure out who's gonna play and who's not.
Yeah, that's gonna be the tough one. I mean, does he go 10? Does the rotation jump to 10 now, or does he stick with 9 like he's been doing over the years?
I don't want to hog it, Sim, but that's another thing that was out there. You know what I mean? Like that. I think it was Katz that said last year Tibbs wanted to play 10. So if that's true, with a deeper roster now currently, maybe.
Han said it too.
Maybe it was Han. I'm not sure who said it, but
maybe they both said it. But I mean, because if you're in the know, you're in the know, right? So I think Tibbs really wanted to go 10 apparently, but he didn't necessarily have that level of trust with some of the guys. I think this year, man, like he's gonna get tested. his philosophies and his way of playing guys out there might get tested. I heard somebody the other day, I forgot who it was, said, this rotation should be 11.
Sheesh. Yo, it is hard to play 11. I'm just speaking from a person who's coached. It's hard to go 11 deep. Sometimes
that's tough.
Sometimes it's hard to go 10 deep. I mean, but it's really hard to go 11 because normally, things will shake out when they get in training camp. But when you get to the 11th guy, and maybe it's not like that with this team, but that 11th guy, there's a drop off. And and there's a drop off. There's a reason why he's the 11th guy. You know what I'm saying? It's normally a drop off, and then it's just hard. If you're trying to juggle 11 players, somebody's not going to be happy with their minutes. You know, and you're gonna have one person who, you know, maybe he thought he wasn't gonna get minutes, and other people thought he wasn't gonna get minutes. That maybe jumps into the lineup, and you know, someone's not gonna be happy. It's hard to go 11. I don't think you can go 11.
It's tough, Sim. But you know, the other thing too is, could you see it though? Because you know who the 8 is, right?
Right.
And then 9 is going to either be Precious or it's going to be Sims. But
Okay.
if Sims takes a step up this year, then I don't know how you don't play Sims, and you can't not, you know what Precious is. Precious is going to get, you know, he's going to have his moments where he don't really have much going on, but then he's going to have moments where Precious looks great, and you're happy you got him on the team. So how can you not, you know, kind of interchange and use whoever's hot at the time? So, and then you're talking about that's 10, and then you got Kolek sitting on the bench.
See, I think because
I know.
I think the way it happens though is
the only reason I'm even bringing Kolek's name up is because I've never heard Tibbs or people in the organization talk about a rookie like this for the Knicks.
Right.
So it's just a little weird. I don't know.
Right.
And that money, that $6 million for a second rounder, it's got me thinking. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sim. You want to say something?
See, I think that, you know, you're saying, you know, do you not play the hot guy? But I think all that gets fixed in training camp, kind of, right? Because you're not going to know if someone's hot if they're not playing.
Right.
So, you know, I think he's going to settle in. If he's going to go 10, he'll settle in on 10, knowing that, okay, maybe this guy does deserve to play, but something's going to happen with this 10 because this is the 10 that I trust. Something's going to have to happen with this 10 before I throw him out there to get on the floor. Foul trouble, injury, whatever it is, or someone just, you know, can't play this game. So I don't think it's like, okay, I got this guy, you know, let me see if he gets hot, and then I'll keep him in. I don't think it's like that. I think it's going to be you settling on your 10 players, if that's the number you're going to go, and you play that 10 until something happens and there's a reason to pull somebody else in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will say this though, I wouldn't even go 10 because the 10th guy is now taking minutes from 1 through 5, and I know we say that our team is deep, but I think there's we're 6 through, if by deep you mean 6 through 10 is as good or better, like I said before, as any other team 6 through 10, then I would agree. Yes, we are deep. But if by deep you mean we could take out Brunson and put in McBride and it won't be a drop up, we ain't that type of deep.
Right.
Or we could sit down Randall and bring in Precious and they won't be a drop. We ain't that type of deep. So I think there is a difference. So people talking about going 9, going 10, you got to keep in mind if you go in that deep, that's less minutes for your really good guys.
Yep.
You understand? And I think you want your really good guys on the floor as much as possible. The issue is going to be to me, you got to find a way to get Hart and DiVincenzo at least 25 minutes. If you get in Hart and DiVincenzo, because those are your next 2 best players. If you give in Hart and DiVincenzo 25 minutes, Precious and McBride is playing under 15 minutes. I mean, we did the math on the show, and Katz had a great article in The Athletic about it. McBride and Precious is getting 15 minutes. Now you want to go deeper? You bring in Sim? I mean, you got to make sure your best players are on the floor because this Eastern, as good as the Knicks are, this Eastern Conference, it's going to be a dogfight every night. Mm-hmm. So this idea that we could just play people 30, 32 minutes, bring Precious off, pay him, and we're going to still finish first or second and win 60 games. I don't see it.
Is there a world where the top 7, our top 7, are their situation doesn't change? Like but the rotation part is with the other 2 to 3 guys. You know what I'm saying? Where they're, and because my concept of going 10, or I've never thought 11, but at least going 10 that's not saying 10 guys are playing every single night. That's saying there's a solidified top 7, top 8. You know what I mean? And then those other 2 spots are rotating based off of situation, whether it's nightly, whether it's injury, whatever the case. But that was always my thought when I say like 10 going 10 deep or 10-man rotation. It's these other guys are in that rotation amongst themselves, but our top 7 are stamped whichever way they're going to be stamped.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the case. But guys coming off the bench, they playing like 15, even less than that. The guys need rhythm. They can't come into the game and just come out, do little spurts here and there. That's not really a rotation. Those guys are just getting like spot minutes here and there.
Spot minutes. Yeah.
So I mean, I like the idea of the 7, and then you just kind of everybody just fit in how they fit in, and then the numbers will average out as the season goes on.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm not saying that won't happen. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to have to change his philosophy for that to happen. Because I think since Tom Thibodeau's been with the Knicks, it's been guys know what minutes they're going to get.
Yeah.
And they know what they're playing. They know if they are going to play or not going to play. And they kind of settle in on that. I mean, you see guys, look at the clock and they might get up themselves like, all right, it's my time to go in. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they're ready. They start taking the warm-ups off, tying their sneakers up, because they know Tom's about to call their name. You know what I mean? Because they just know it's,
even
it's
further,
been
this guy
structured
Josh
like
Hart turned a vegetarian. He said, if I'm gonna be playing all these minutes, I got to change my whole lifestyle,
right?
To play for Tibbs.
So
Right.
I don't know. I think he knows who his, I'm gonna say probably top 8 guys are, maybe 7 to 8. I think he knows. And then there's maybe 2 to 3 spots that are battling to see if they can get into the rotation, to see who's going to fit best in that rotation. I think it's going to be like that.
I think that's true. I think that's fair. My honest opinion, he's going 10 in the preseason. He's going 10 to start the regular season. And even if it looks good and the Knicks are winning and it looks well, at some point in that first month of the season, he's going to start settling in on his guys that he's used to going to. Plus, Tibbs is a really, like, all the stuff that we've heard about Tibbs in the past, the disciplinary and stuff. Tibbs he's got a soft spot. He's a real players coach. Mm-hmm. He knows that he's got to keep his players happy. He knows the whole thing about keeping the Knicks in the spotlight. He's going to play Jalen Brunson his minutes so that Jalen Brunson can be an all-star. He's going to play Julius Randle his minutes so that Julius can have a shot to be an all-star again. And he might even do something like that depending on OG or Macau. If they're really playing well in the minutes that they're playing, maybe one of them has a shot at it. He's definitely going to give them the love that they want to get out there on the court.
I'm going to tell you what. Some of these guys are going to have a short leash with OG and Bridges and Randall and Brunson. I mean, if you mess up, you might be looking over your shoulder because, you know what? Bridges, let's go. You know what I mean? Dante's 0 for 7. Get him out of there. You know what I mean? So some of these guys are going to have to, and they're going to have to be able to be okay with that.
And don't let that small ball hit. Then
right.
Even tighter, Mitch. Nah, we already figured out that we can rebound because Tibbs run the stats on each individual lineup. So
right.
Like, oh, we rebounding well without Mitch. We defending well without Mitch.
Yeah.
So
somebody's gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna kind of say the same thing the Queen just said. Like, if we go to small ball and it works, like if we're protecting the rim and rebounding the ball with whatever small ball lineup, I could. That just adds either Josh Hart or DiVincenzo to his favorite 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, looking at the roster, and this is just off of the Knicks website, right? So it's not in any kind of order. Julius Randle, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, Campaign, Jericho Sims, Bates Diop. I mean,
Forgot about him.
yeah. I don't know if there's any. He might just be insurance policy guy, a veteran. That Tibbs could rely on. Then you got, of course, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby. You got Daquan Jeffries. I'm not exactly sure what his contract is. I gotta check it out. You got Daquan Jeffries, Precious, Charlie Brown Jr., Okiki.
Oh
They
yeah.
picked up for training camp.
Chuma. Big
Right,
Chuma.
Chuma. Right, Josh Hart, Miles McBride, Dwayne Washington Jr. You got Jacob Toppin, Dante DiVincenzo, Kevin McCullough Jr.
Right.
Right, now we're getting to the young guys, the rookies, Ariel Huckporty, Tyler Kolek, and Dottie. So just looking at the young guys, do you expect any of these young guys to play? I know everybody is expecting Tyler Kolek to play, and get minutes and all of that stuff. Personally, I don't. I think Tom Thibodeau has his system, his philosophy, especially with young guys. Like, you got to earn it. You got to battle. You got to earn it. If you read Emmanuel Quickly when he wrote his letter when he was traded, he said he came in and dropped 30 in training in a preseason game or whatever it was, and he thought he was going to come back and get a blue jersey, and they still threw him the green jersey. You know what I'm saying? That's just how Tom Thibodeau does. Now, if you're the third pick, all right, you're going to play. You know what I mean? But that's just how Tom Thibodeau does. I'm not expecting Tyler Kolek to play much. Unless something happens and he has to step in, then maybe you see him. But I don't know. Anybody expect him to play much?
In Westchester, I think.
Yeah.
Westchester might actually be a good ticket this year to go check them out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they might be. I don't know. Anybody expect him to get any playing time?
I mean, I'll go quick, Tony, because I know you chomping at the bit, man.
I got a one-liner.
Oh, okay. I would just say, like, I think Kolek is going to show out in practice, right? I think there's going to be some moments that he has some really good moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really the only way Kolek will get some burn is if that second unit comes into the lineup and there's a lot of stagnation there.
Right.
But I don't really see here. This is the problem. Even though I said this, and I've said this in the past on the shows, that I thought there's a chance he can get, because we've seen in the past those second units have been stagnant.
Right.
But those guys, like, we've been battle tested now. Shout out to John. We've been battle tested, and so guys like Hart and DiVincenzo have stepped up, and they found a way to get things done in different roles. So I think them coming off the bench, I don't think we're going to have a lot of stagnation. And then obviously we know there's going to be a starter or two that's intertwined in there.
Right.
I don't really see it, so I don't see where the love for Kolek's going to be. And if I'm being fair, I think Deuce is better now. Not better. I'm not saying he's better than Kolek. Probably all around he is, but I just think Deuce has become a better player. I see something different in Deuce, man. I don't know what he looks like. He looks like he's a baller. So
he's really confident.
Yeah,
You saw him win that scholarship for that kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's like really confident.
After getting the playing time that he did in the playoffs and performing in the playoffs, he should be confident, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then I also think in that second unit, if it's true that the Knicks don't see him as a point guard, I really think they're going to run Bridges with that second unit to give him an opportunity to shine, aside from Randall and Brunson, and have an opportunity to create for himself and to create for others, because he can do that. And that second unit, truth be told, they need it, because McBride, Hart, Devo, I think they're better playing off of somebody who's creating for them than doing the creating themselves. So if that happens, I think Deuce will be fine in that second unit in terms of defending, shooting. You know, he can get it off the bounce as well, but that pressure won't be on him to organize the team, be the point guard, make sure we get a good shot. He could just come in and play his game.
Yeah.
What's great about our team is that I feel like we just have so many guys that they just make great decisions. Nobody really turns the ball over like that. You know, between even the new guy, Mikal Bridges, whatever. But between DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, I felt like those guys, they took the ball handling duties in the playoffs a lot because they out of necessity. But now these guys are bench guys. You know what I'm saying? So like from like the first 4 guys outside of Mitchell Robinson, then add them to 6. You got like 6 guys that make really great basketball decisions, man. So it's going to be tough to figure out how we get a Tyler Kolek in here and do with his playmaking. And it just not for nothing in practice, he got to see Mikal. I mean, he got to see all these defenders. So how does he get if he can show that he could still play with all these hard defenders on him, then that shows you a lot. That's going to show a lot too.
Right.
Yeah,
Tom.
All I was gonna say is if I believe it when I see it, that's not me knocking him. That was gonna be my one liner. I believe it when I see it. But if I see it, I know that he earned it. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's not gonna be given to him, just like you were saying about quickly. So and to your point, Eru, he's gonna be showing it against these defenders on the starter's side. You know what I mean? He's gonna be showing it well, he's gonna have to defend too, Brunson, in that sense. So you know what I mean? Like he's gonna have to improve in that area and be able to work with his stature, small stature as well. So yeah, if he gets it, he earned it. I know that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What about Huck Porty at the backup center? Do you think he has a shot?
I don't know. I don't like his legs
to play, huh?
I don't like his legs. He always got his legs together. He doesn't keep a wide base. He always has his legs together. I don't like that.
That's how Obi Toppin was.
Fit.
Maybe he bow-legged.
Knock knee or something.
Knock knee.
I don't know.
Yeah, because if you bow-legged, he can't. It's hard to put. I'm bow-legged. I can't put my knees together. If I stretch my legs out, I'm like, I can't put my knees together.
Listen, I mean, I honestly hope Huck Porty is the answer, but it would stink for Sims, but Precious might be on borrowed time anyway. But yeah, I think I would hope Huck Porty is the answer. The guy's got some talent. He's got some game, and I think with him too. I don't think we started to see him kind of fit into the mold in the summer league, but we know the summer league is the summer league. But I don't think his confidence level is there yet. He still has to. I mean, he's coming from playing the Australian leagues. He's still got to kind of get used to that NBA speed. He's got to get used to NBA practices, Tibbs practices. It's a little different from Dyson Tibbs. So I think, maybe once he starts to feel a little bit more comfortable out there, see that he can maybe do some things that Mitch can't do, because that's automatically going to add confidence. I don't care if Mitch is better than him at certain things. If he can be better than Mitch at like a couple things, that's going to lend confidence to him. So, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think he really has a chance. Again, with him being a rookie, I mean, if you're fighting for a championship, unless this guy, any rookie is phenomenal, I don't think Tom Thibodeau is depending on a rookie to help him win a championship. I just don't think Tom Thibodeau trusts a rookie enough to make decisions in big moments. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what I'm thinking too. The Knicks are in a different place. If this was like 3 years ago, right now you're trying to win a championship in a tight Eastern Conference, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
You can't, you
can't take no chances.
He's on a two-way.
Right.
Yeah,
you can't take you can't play around. You can't take no chances.
Yeah, we ain't developing nobody right now, man. Those guys are gonna have to do that in practice on their own time. We on some other business.
Yeah, or we're not developing them in the game in the NBA. they got to spend some time in the G League and develop there in the G League. And the Knicks, I mean, we can look at it and say they probably got some talent in the G League, with Tyler, Huck Porty, Dadier, McCullum, right? McCullough. They probably got some talent there in the G League. So, they should be fun to watch.
Also, is there a chance that maybe, sorry, Steph, is there a chance that maybe Huck Porty might have a little bit, not really, you know what I mean, because they've already been there, but a little bit of an advantage over someone like Sims? Not Precious, because Precious had to step up and because we needed him. But Sims was always like, he was hurt, so we couldn't use him. We was wondering where was Sims. I thought he was in the super doghouse. I didn't know he was hurt. But the reason why I'm saying that is because Sims is going to be on the bench, right?
Yeah.
But Huck Porty's going to the G League. He's going to be able to play and work on stuff and just have a little bit more confidence that his shot's going to be like whatever he got going on is going to be a little fresher than a guy like Sims or Precious that are sitting there on the bench just waiting for a possible opportunity.
Yeah.
Just saying. I think he's like an old rookie, though.
Yeah. I think Tibbs. Sims has started for the Knicks.
True.
Right. I don't know how many games, but he's been a starter before. And I think Tom Thibodeau is going to trust that. Trust what he's already seen happen in the NBA than a guy who he hasn't seen do anything in the NBA yet.
I hope you're right, Sim. I do remember watching Taj Gibson play 35, 36 minutes with no backup. And Sims was sitting right there on the bench.
I know. That's what I'm saying about Tom and he'll play young players, but
if we see Huck Porty, something went wrong. Something went bad. Like, not for nothing. Like, it sucks because his only advantage at this point right now is he's at a position where we are weakest. Right. You know what I mean? But that being said, if we see him, it's because something went wrong. Yeah. Something bad happened.
Yeah.
I hope we never see him. I hope Sims balls out. Yeah. Seriously, I do.
Sims is 25, so I think, he's like at that age where like either you're going to make that advance, not necessarily to be like no star player, but just at least make that jump from, well, I know what I'm doing now, where I'm not just like, oh, Jesus Christ, like Tom Thibodeau yelling at, oh, hope those days are over. 25 as a basketball player, you're supposed to be.
Yeah. I want to just go back to when we talked about us being a championship team and Tibbs not wanting to take chances with a rookie. This is why I'm not going to sleep on Campaign because of the experience he has in the league. In that bubble season when Chris Paul didn't play, he scored, I think, 30-something points in that playoff game. For the Philadelphia 76ers last year, championship contending team, most people thought he averaged almost 10 points a game in 20 minutes. So I'm not going to just count him out and say he's an emergency break glass type of player. If you're trying to win a championship, those are the type of guys you want as your backup point guard. Experienced guys who know how to run a team. And even though his shot is funky, it goes in, So I wouldn't count him out. I think that McBride has the edge for sure. But I think the training camp is going to be tough at that position for the backup point guards.
Yeah. Let's talk about that because that's probably going to be the biggest training camp battle, right? Is the backup point guard, or just that rotation of guards. Right now you're looking at your benches: Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Deuce, assuming is going to be out there. Right, Precious, because you need a big out there on the floor. Now there's one more spot. Right. If he goes 10, there's one more spot. If he goes 10, if you put Campaign out there, that's like really small.
Yeah.
Right. That's really small. I don't know if he goes that small.
I don't think so.
Same for Tyler.
Same for Tyler, right? You put Tyler out there, you're small. So that's where, the argument is that it'd be Mikal Bridges or Julius Randle that's playing out there with those guys.
Right.
And that still kind of means no matter what, there's a small ball lineup.
Yeah, right.
Because Mitch is, Mitch is playing 25 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we don't want him playing more than that anyway. So,
but I do think with Precious, it's a small ball lineup in terms of height. But with Randle, it's a small ball lineup in terms of everybody being able to handle the ball and do something with it. And I think that makes us a different team and a more dynamic team. Whereas with Precious, we similar to Mitch. He got a little more offensive skills than Mitch, but he's not going to be as dynamic as Randle at the 5. And if you're a defender, you don't really have to play Precious. You got to play Randle.
Right.
Yeah, I think that makes us really scary, man. Especially with Julius Randle doing ball handling. If we do play small ball and he ends up playing center, and you got OG and Josh Hart, let's say on the wings, and then Brunson and whoever else, Mikal or either DiVincenzo, we're gonna be flying up and down the court, man. And all those guys make, like I was saying before, all those guys make great decisions. They don't really turn the ball over, man. So we might get a situation like how the Knicks were when we won our championships. 70, 72. We used to get the ball up the court. They didn't even dribble the ball. They were just flying up the court. We would make the defensive stop and then fly up the court again and make another score. So that's what I'm hoping for. But on paper, just looking at it, we could possibly be that type of team.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think because Randall's not a shot blocker, right? Tibbs wants to protect the rim at all costs. How much will he use Randle at the 5 to go small ball?
And I'm challenging Coach. You're a defensive coach. Figure it out, Tibbs. Figure out. Come up with a scheme. You know what I mean? That we can utilize these guys, and you still get your rim protection. Like you said, OG at the 5.
I don't know if you get the rim protection. What I would do is I would try to trap. If I went small ball, I would try to press.
That's it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just 3 minutes of small ball, I would press for those 3 minutes. Use the speed that you have out there on the floor to press and make them have to make different decisions. Or go zone.
Or do you need a rim protector if you got stout wing defense? I mean, how many people are getting into the lane?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only thing that I'm concerned about, I like it. Just the idea of it, even what Steph is saying, that small ball lineup with all those guys out there and a lot of them ball handlers, a lot of them comfortable with the basketball. I mean, just envisioning the combination of how can a defense stop that, right? Because you're gonna have, if I'm envisioning it in my head, you can't double team anybody, and you got perimeter guys that are on the corners that shoot like 40% from the corners.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a center in Julius Randle who can do whatever he wants with the ball, whether he decides, to shoot from the outside, mid-range, or go inside. But the only thing that I do worry about with that type of lineup is if there's no Josh Hart out there and you're playing small ball, OG's not particularly a strong rebounder. Mikal Bridges is definitely not a strong rebounder.
Right.
And then from the guard spot, depending on who's out there, like Julius Randle's our best rebounder. And I'm assuming that if he is playing the center, they're going to want to kind of pull him out of the paint on the offensive side to help stretch the floor. So if he's out of position to get the rebound, I'm like, we're not really strong at getting rebounds. That to me worries me a little bit.
I don't think they go small ball without Josh Hart.
I was going to say that, or we could just not miss.
Well,
there you go.
The other guys too, like DiVincenzo and even Mikal. Well, Mikal don't really rebound either, but I mean, the guys like DiVincenzo and Josh, they just pick up the slack for that. As far as like rebounds, I want to say like 5 to 10 feet out like that in that area.
Mm-hmm.
They get those like medium range, long range rebounds. You know what I'm saying? So in today's NBA with the 3-point shot, I just I think that I think that might offset the way things will go. But
Yeah, I think you can make a point. You got to have one of those guys out there.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And then somebody told me that I didn't hear this, but someone said OG himself said the reason why his rebounding numbers are not that strong is because he was out on the wing chasing guys around. So this is what I heard he said. So I mean, listen, if he's playing the 5 or the 4, um, maybe he can pick his rebounding up some.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to call. Nah. He was playing with Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is an incredible defender. I'm sure he didn't have to chase everybody around as much in Toronto either. What say you, OG?
Hey, just challenge him. Yes, like you know what I mean? Put the challenge out.
He was better rebounder in the playoffs too, though. So
yeah, he was.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he plays his position. Like he's a really good. He boxes out well. So if he doesn't get the rebound, he seals off his position enough for someone else to get the rebound. So I think that's something too to add to the.
I think I guess he does have a point. If he's always defending on the perimeter, then he's normally not going to be under the basket or close to the basket to rebound, right? If he's defending on the perimeter. So what would change this year? Because he's
my bad.
What would change now? Right? He's still going to be most likely defending a perimeter guy, right?
Yeah. Except for the small ball, he'll be a little closer.
Yeah, he'll be a little, yeah.
Speaking of what would change now, I mean that's been a staple for us rebounding. I don't think that changes. We talked about Josh Hart picking up some slack. I think Randall's a good rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to put a more emphasis. Just put more emphasis on that. Like I think we have the personnel to do that. If OG is true what he's saying, all right, now put an emphasis on it. Now you got Mikal next to you. You don't have to rebound you don't got to guard all the guys up and down. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. Mikal, right. You don't got the tougher matchup. We need you getting some of them extra rebounds. So just put the challenge out there. I think we'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if we use a small ball lineup. Real interesting.
I was just going to say shout out to Vaughn Allen because he was saying that the Knicks were one of the best rebounding teams, if not at some points in the season, the best rebounding team in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And you're right. But remember, we're talking specifically about a small ball lineup of having Julius at the center position.
Right.
In other rotations and sets, I wouldn't be concerned about it. I'm just talking about the small ball with Julius at the 5.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see in training camp how much Tom Thibodeau, if he experiments a little bit. I'm like, this will be the year you know what your roster is. You know who's playing. You know what your lineups are for the most part. Now you can really kind of experiment a little bit and see what kind of lineups you like. See if you like a small ball lineup or not.
Probably the most flexibility. I was just gonna say the most flexibility he's probably had we talk about the flexibility of the roster, like in terms of on the floor and switchability, but this is probably the most flexible he's had of a team as well. So where he can experiment more, or whether it's the 10-man rotation, whether it's small ball, whatever it may be, he's got more personnel to kind of do those things, try these things out.
I'm going to go one step further. I don't think the small ball is optional experimentation thing. I think the small ball is almost mandatory if the Knicks are going to be a successful team. I mean, that's the only way, in my opinion, you can really take advantage of what you have on offense and put the pressure on the other teams. Rolling out lineups with Mitch and Precious at the 5 gives the defense a little break because they don't really have to tend to them that much on the offensive end. Their man can stand right in the middle of the key, taking away our backdoor cuts and things like that. We really want to put the pressure on the defense. You have to have a small ball lineup, in my opinion.
I'm right there with you, Steph, because I want to punch teams in the mouth. Like waiting to defend the other team and stop them, and but we always neglect the fact that we go through minutes without scoring and stuff like that, man. So I mean, small ball would definitely get more offensive players out there. Like I said, we have better guys that make better decisions. So I mean, if we can get that get the ball moving up and down the court offensively on the fast break and just get in the passing lanes like we were saying, like we should be really dominant. A lot of times we should be really dominant in that way, man. So I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, man, it's just like I'm like I said, I'm excited. Like, from what you said, man, it's the dreams that we're having. Like the whole off season, man. Just thinking about it's like, man, I cannot wait to see this play out because it's like, man, I'm just happy, man. That's all.
Yeah.
And to think we've had 2 years where it's like we've been at an all-time high as Knicks fan, or if not an all-time high, it's been such a drought since we've been this excited 2 years ago, and then last year, and now we're here again talking about the same thing. Like, and this time I don't even think we could have imagined feeling like this last year. You know what I mean? So it's like we thought we was 2 or 3 years away from feeling like this,
Right.
and now it's like, we here? Like they use "we here" too early.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have brought it. They should have saved it.
Yeah. Tony, I know you was asking earlier. You were asking a little bit earlier, is that with the starting lineup, is there any question as to who's in the starting lineup, or is there a chance that somebody sneaks in that we don't expect to sneak in?
I mean, the only I've heard people argue for Devo, saying he deserves to start, and if I was going, I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying Mikal or whatever, because I know you can't. We gave up for Mikal. That's going to be the first thing people talking about. How's this guy coming off the bench? But if I was going to make an argument for it, it's just to keep that chemistry right off the jump. You know what I mean? That we ended the season with, or if not ended, you know what I mean? Like that familiarity from where we peaked, and now Mikal could kind of continue to grow as a lead guy. You know what I mean? In that second unit, ball handle, etc. And I mean that could change at any point. But if there was an argument for it, that would be mine.
And to add to that, Bridges being with that second unit would have more space to do what he,
right?
Have more of an opportunity to play his game.
Yeah.
Although, man, I don't want to be that guy, but although I feel like Bridges in the starting lineup allows him to go back to his early Phoenix days, where I think he played some of his best basketball, just being that guy that just fit into his role. And I think if you put him on the bench, coming in that second unit, I don't know. I mean, it's not. I think it's just going to be one of them things where he feels like he's going to have to do more. He's going to be coming in with Josh Hart, I'm just the devil's advocate side of it. Not all the Brooklyn Nets fans were that happy with Bridges' game. So even though he's a really good player, I think he's much better as that complementary piece. When you ask him to do a little bit more than he might necessarily be able to handle, some of the flaws, the armor starts to look a little weak.
Yeah,
that's true. And the shooting splits weren't good in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I think that was the main difference. That the shooting percentages dropped tremendously. But in the second unit, you're banking on him playing against second units for the most part, where he should be able to elevate his game,
right,
and become. You know what I mean? But again, I think it's highly unlikely.
And none of this matters anyway, Tony. It's all a moot point because this New York Knicks team is a good team. There's going to be so much interchangeability that it's not like it's just going to be Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges running the offense. Julius Randle's going to be out there with them, or Brunson will be out there. It's going to be a lot of interchangeability. So I don't think it even matters that whether he starts or not. I'm just saying, if it was a situation where he had to be the one controlling the second unit, I just think that you might be surprised that it doesn't look as good as we might think it looked. I'm just going based off Brooklyn fans, and I saw some highlights, and they point out a lot of negative. They mad now, but they got a little bit of a point.
Yeah, you guys bring.
I mean, he would admit it. He's admitted it himself. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry, building blocks. No, I'm advocating for starting him. I want Mikal in the starting lineup. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tony.
Listen, this is his first opportunity. That was his first opportunity being a number one and having a lot of attention, right? Coming into last season, because he came in like the end of the season before that, teams didn't really know him. He was able to score. Second year, they really doubled down, top of the scouting report. But guys grow from that. Like, I really think Mikal Bridges has the potential to be a number two. I wouldn't say a number one, maybe, but I think he has the potential to be a number two. I think his ceiling, I don't think he's reached it yet.
Oh, that's a fact. And Randle got that opportunity, right, to be the number one and then learn how to, and then the teams next year double him on every possession. He had to learn and fix through that. Mikal is not really, like, now, like you said, he's going back to that potentially third option or maybe second. You know what I mean? But again, none of these are problems. These are all good things. You know what I mean?
Right. I want to bring up the Paul George podcast. We had Mikal Bridges on there. They asked him a question like, "Who do you think out there would has the potential to be like a scorer right now? That's like kind of like, not really doing what they're supposed to yet. He mentioned immediately
his teammate.
Yeah, his teammate OG. You know what I'm saying? So it's so funny because Mikal Bridges and OG are basically kind of like in the same boat. Like, once they got their team, would they be able to, take on the scoring load and stuff like that? So you got two guys like that on the roster. So, another point that could possibly happen too is that Brunson and Julius might end up just going back to doing what they do, and then they might push those guys on the side, and they might kind of get lost in the sauce. Thinking that they might have had a bigger role, but then they fall into this, thing again. So that could be something also that might give us might give us an issue, maybe. But I just don't think this, just the way these guys are like, so connected with each other. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it's possible that could.
I think OG, kind of does what he's been doing, right?
Yeah.
3-and-D guy. I think he does what he's been doing, and then I think Bridges is going to kind of take the place of what RJ was doing when he was here with Brunson and Randle. But I think he does it a little different than right. I think he does it. I think he does it a little different than RJ, of course, right? He's going to be more consistent hitting the corner threes when he has to hit the corner three. When he gets his touches to create, I think he'll be a little more successful when he gets his touches to create. And then I think, like Steph said, playing him in the second unit, where he can kind of have the ball in the game to himself, so that he can get his. So I think he does that. Because Randle and Brunson are going to get theirs. Yeah. They're going to get theirs regardless, in my opinion. So I think, you got to carve out some ways for, to get Mikal his touches and looks.
Yeah. Eru, my only thing about what you said with OG, man, he can't really complain right now. He got to play games, be healthy, defend. Like, you're already the highest paid Knick ever. So
and learn how to use his phone, man. You saw how you took that video and half his head was like cut off the video. Learn how to use his phone too. Bugged out.
I think he was trolling.
He's interesting, man. They say he's pretty funny. He got like that English humor. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think we in good shape. A bunch of you guys mentioned the 7-man. The top 7. We're pretty good. 7. Our top 7. So I think between those guys, there always will be probably 2 of those 7 on the court at all times. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even 3. So I think we're good money, man. think we'll be good.
Yeah. And the thing about it with OG and Mikel, I agree with Sim. We may not see what they're fully capable of because Randall and Brunson are going to get theirs regardless. However, unlike last season, if somebody misses a game or get hurt, those guys can they
Yeah.
can step it up. Whereas in the
Exactly.
playoffs, I felt like Josh Hart is playing over his head a little bit. I hope he can continue this, up, or we're gonna be in trouble. I'm not gonna have those type of concerns with OG and Mikal Bridges if someone can't play.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. You got enough guys out there that can step up and play. I mean, even if two guys go down, you still got some guys that can.
Right?
Still got some
Get that
guys
outta
out
here.
there that can get you along, man. How much pressure is on Tibbs? I mean, obviously he's there's nobody. He's not battling anybody for any spots or positions, but he's battling. He's got to battle himself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
And he's missed the we have enough to win. So like and now you got more. So guess what? You got more than enough to win, Tibbs.
Yeah, and he watches the games 2-3 times and all that stuff that he was saying in the press conferences, man. So, and he got his boy now too. Somebody mentioned, a couple people mentioned Mo Cheeks. He got his boy here, so you got your guys in the war
relationship
room.
with Mo Cheeks?
What's that?
He has a relationship with Mo Cheeks?
I mean, I think did they work together before in Minnesota? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But that's somebody that he chose, I believe, though.
Yeah.
So
When Mo Cheeks coached for the Knicks, right?
Mo Cheeks,
He was an assistant coach. Oh, maybe he was playing.
Yeah.
Was Tom Thibodeau around when he was playing?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Under Jeff. Was it under Jeff? I don't
know.
Because that was
I don't know.
89, 90. So I don't think Tom was here during that time.
Okay. What'd you say, Ron? Can't hear you, Ron.
You're on mute.
Internally.
Hate that, man. I thought I don't see the mute on the screen because I got my internal mic got the mute on. It's sensitive, you know what I mean? It's like I don't even have a cat over here, but something ran by and hit the Anyway, I think that he can you be on the hot seat without it being a hot seat? It sounds weird, but I feel like he's definitely there's two people that have a lot of pressure on them. And one of them doesn't really need to have the pressure, but I think internally he's going to put the pressure on himself, and that's Julius Randle. Because he wasn't there. You know what I mean? He saw them play well. He wasn't there to help his team. He's coming back from an injury. I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself. But I think Tom Thibodeau, definitely, he's got no excuses. Like, they gave you a team that can win.
Right.
It's like one person shy of being like, you can't ask for more. Like, they have addressed a lot of their issues, and now all we're talking about is a backup center. Like, how much more can you ask for? If they get that addressed, I mean, really. But this is where Tibbs this is the only thing is this puts Tibbs in the situation where he does so much with a little. You know what I mean? But when you give him what he needs, this is where the proof is in the pudding. Now we got to see, does he change from a regular season coach to a really good playoff coach? He's always been a good coach, but the playoffs has been his little bit of his that Achilles. But I do think he can do it because I think his mentality has changed over the years. Since he's been with the Knicks, he has become, to me, a better coach. So I do think he can do it.
I think he's already done it. I think now, I mean, last year was proof, but I think he has to take it to another level.
Yeah.
This is what I'll say about the pressure. I think the pressure is on him to eventually win a championship. I don't think the pressure is on him to win a championship next season. Because when you think about Boston was championship contenders, and I've said this multiple times, for years before they won a championship. Denver for years before they won a championship. Milwaukee for years before they won it. And Philly's been championship contenders for years and they haven't won one. It's not easy to win a championship. And just because you have the roster doesn't mean you're going to get there, because this roster is not tested at the level that championship contending teams are tested at. Right? Boston had to go through the fire a few times before they won it. We've never even been to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm hopeful we can win a championship this year, but I'm not just going to say just because we have the roster on paper, it's a done deal. And if we don't, then Thibodeau, what is he doing? I mean, who's won a championship the first year they had a roster to do it? Not many.
So,
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat, but you know what I mean? They just turned the ticker on. It's just starting. Just like the window is open now,
Mhm.
like and he got his extension. He survived he survived the torture chamber that no coach has done for us, and fulfilled his contract. He's on the extension. Now it's, you know what I mean? Like his ticker is as long as the window is. You know what I mean? Like, so I agree with Queen. He has to win a championship. You know what I mean? It don't got to be this year. There's a window.
Right.
We have a 4 or 5 year window, and not saying he gets that long.
I was about to say.
No. I'm not saying I'm not saying he gets that long here, because even if you look around the league, you know what I mean. A lot of these teams had contenders. Some of these guys had championship coaches and let them go. You know what I mean. So, but they've been there for a long tenure. So he's in that long tenure thing. You know what I mean. He can't reach the Spoles and the Popoviches until he gets that ring. And that ring, that starts buying you some grace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That starts buying you some leeway for mistakes. But yeah, so it's just starting, just like the window.
Yeah. I agree with that. I don't think there's. I mean, Tibbs, I guess, is always going to put pressure on himself to win. I don't think from Leon Rose, there's like, hey, you got to win. I mean, they're watching. I guess, the clock has started, I guess maybe you want to say, because we got you a team now that we think is a contending team. So now do something with it. But I don't think, they're like breathing down his neck. It's like, okay, we got you a team, now go do your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're going to give him time, I think, to do what he does. As a matter of fact, I think he probably plays out his contract unless something egregious happens.
Right.
And then, when you get to the end of the what'd you say, Steph?
Unless Dolan comes down and be like, you know what?
Right.
It's over.
And to talk to her, Dolan loves him. Dolan don't fire people easy when he got personal love for him. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
That's true.
he let her rock out.
Oh yeah, him and Tibbs have a relationship.
That's they say Dolan loves him.
Oh really?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And if Steve Mills can be around for as long as Steve Mills has been around, he's got some good cachet over there.
Right.
He's still around
Steve,
too. I think he's like selling hot dogs. I think.
I,
Like, for real, I think he's like in charge of concessions and stuff like that.
5 years.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Isaiah stayed a little bit longer than he should have. You know what I mean? Based off that relationship. So it's kind of documented. If you in this good grade, and I'm not saying nothing, but they say he loved Randall too. I'm just saying.
I could see that. I could see it. I could
He holds people
definitely
down
see it.
too, right? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, the Charles Sprewell was cursing him out before he left the Knicks, and then now the Sprewell is everywhere. Every time they have like some kind of like Knicks event, Sprewell is right there, smiling and grinning at for the cameras and stuff. So, he takes care of his people. But I wanted to throw this at you. What connects Mo Cheeks and Tom Thibodeau together is they were on John Lucas's coaching staff in Philly back in the days, 94.
Okay.
Oh,
I thought they were on Philly together. I didn't want to say it, but I
They
thought
were assistant coaches on John Lucas's staff.
what year was that?
It was 94, 95. That's what I was doing on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the connection was.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think his impact will be, Mo Cheeks?
I mean, hopefully for Deuce, I see Deuce getting the most benefit from him.
like a Woodson type of effect.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see Brunson getting the most.
Brunson too.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Brunson needs. I mean, he's a defensive guy.
Oh, we lost you, Tony. We lost
we
you,
lost-
Tony.
you muted. You muted.
Yeah. I think saying Brunson. I mean, I don't know. I guess I mean, he already runs the team well. Just having that extra support behind you. A point guard that's been in the league, that has done some things in the league, maybe more than his dad,
Won a championship.
right? You know what I'm
Those,
saying? So having that kind of experience to be able to give to Brunson will help. Maybe just a higher level of basketball. It's not no knock on Rick, but he didn't do the things that Mo Cheeks did. So he may be able to provide a little more of that guidance to Brunson.
And Mo Cheeks helped that girl sing the national anthem that time too. So he's a nice guy.
He's very supportive.
Yeah, very supportive, right?
I'm going to say this though. I think Brunson has a lot of pressure on him. I think that it's different being the best player on the team that went to the second round and being the best player on the team that wins a championship. It's another level. And I've seen guys struggle as they go through the playoffs and go to the Eastern Conference Finals and go to the final. It's a different level. Now, I would put money on the fact that he would conquer it, and just the way we've seen him, he's going to continue to do it. But it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for him to struggle as the Knicks move to the Eastern Conference Finals, as the Knicks move to the finals, as he get used to producing on that level against better teams with better game plans and better players to execute those game plans and brighter lights. Right. So we have to see if Brunson can be that guy as the lights get brighter. I put my money on it that he will be, but it still remains to be seen.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
True.
That's a fair point, because I do think. No, I was going to say real quick. I do think that you're right. There is pressure on Brunson as well. I mean, he's been given the keys. Like, he's the captain. They've changed the team to accommodate his boys. Not that they're not good players. They really are. But not everybody gets this level of love and support from an organization. So, and most importantly, here's the big one. New York fans, right? It's okay when you're under the radar. Oh, why are we going after this Brunson guy? Why are we giving him 105, 106 million? Oh, all right, he played good this first year. All right, looks good. But now he's the man. So when you the man, you can't have now the night's off. Like the fans is gonna be different.
Right.
So you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
But again, I give him that same window. You know what I mean? Like, sign the extension, and then the narrative, again, the way it was covered, the way it's put out, you know what I mean? They made it he left this money on the table. So you know what I mean? Like, so I think everything is out there for
Buys him
him
a little grace.
to buy him some grace.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? And again, if Tibbs is getting that grace, you know what I mean? If the organization is getting that grace, obviously the number one guy is going to get that same grace. And we already know who the fans is projecting their negative energy towards first. If anything goes wrong, so at the very least, that buys him a year,
Right? After all of these years,
right? But keep in mind, Giannis got a lot of heat before he won that championship from the fan base, and the same thing with Embiid now getting a lot of hate, pushback, whatever you want to call it, from the fans. Because again, it's not easy to get out the second round and get to the Eastern Conference Finals consistently. It's another level. So it's going to be interesting for me anyway to watch Brunson take this next step.
Yeah,
you're right. That's a fair point. Even Tatum and Brown got. Remember, if it this is so crazy, man. This is so crazy when you guys think about this. Tatum and Brown got to the point where fans and the media was like, you got to break these two guys up.
Right.
Remember that when they played us and RJ hit that shot, and then Marcus Smart had that meeting with the players and talk about guys had to step up, and he made his voiced his opinion publicly in an interview or a press conference after whatever, the after game, post game or whatever. Ever since then, those guys have started playing better, and now their system has changed. So, but right before that, people were like, I don't know if these two are ever going to be able to win together.
Not for nothing. They were saying it this year before they won. You know what I mean? Like that was a narrative this season before they won. So
the ball handling with Brown too. They were saying he can't dribble, all this. So he was getting a lot of flack, with his game and stuff. And then
as they won, they still tried to pit them against each other. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Brunson's good though for no other reason than Julius Randle is the one with the target. Yeah, right. So as long as he's here, he's gonna take them. He's gonna take them shots before Brunson does, and that's just the fact of the matter.
He's always going. He's always going to. Until he's.
Let me before you go, Sim. Let me say this real quick because it needs to be said. All right, Adjay ain't here, okay? But y'all, we got 170 people watching. Only 62 likes. Come on, hit that Adjay button. I mean, hit the like button for your crew here. Man. We back. The full gambit. Nothing but Knicks is here. The Podfather is here. You got Tony. You got me. If you want to say me, I'm cool. I'm here. You got diehard Eru, Steph in the building. Let's go.
No
like
doubt.
Voltron.
No doubt.
Arm leg. Head.
But man, I mean, how much pressure is on Randall though?
I think as we, I don't expect us to really have a rough season. Like I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a cakewalk, but I think when it's all said and done and we peak, I think the season's gonna be fine for him. I think his pressure doesn't hit until the postseason.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's been tough, man. He's been dealing with a lot. These guys see everything. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not they have their phone out or not. I'm quite sure his lady said, "Yo, you know what they said?" Because she's out there, arguing with guys on Twitter and stuff like that, and stuff. So I know he sees all of this stuff. Yeah. Even Randall's mom too. I know that for a fact. Randall's mom sees some things, that she's voiced opinion to some people behind the scenes and stuff. But to take all that pressure and still show up every single year, in shape. He looks fantastic now, man. He is at the kids' camps and stuff. He looked like a Rastafarian, man. He's like super, like his skin is like super sunk in, man. So, I mean, it's amazing that we have that guy, man. So I mean, Brunson is lucky. The whole team is lucky because now guys can really do what they do, and they just know that Julius can just take that. He can just carry that cross for us, man, which is not fair, but he does that.
And that's going to be something that he probably doesn't get any. Thanks for, at least from the fans, until he's no longer a Knick.
Or until he's here when we win it all. You know what I mean?
That's true. That could. I still think some fans are gonna hate on the guy. Oh, it wasn't him. It was Brunson. Oh, whatever.
Even Caden be snapping on him, man. Caden be snapping on him too. Like whenever they talk about this game and stuff, they be snapping on him too. So
I mean, he definitely takes the bullets. When it was just him and RJ and everybody, he took all the bullets. You know what I mean? And he'll probably continue to take all the bullets. Yeah. And the thing about him, people that don't like him, they gotta at least admit he finds a way to come back better. Even when he has a poor season, he finds a way to come back better every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not the best player ever. He's got some flaws to his game, but I mean, you got to give it to him. He helped build the team to what it is. And this team to me isn't the same without him. Cause
and he's. I was just gonna say he's weathered storms here in New York that, some of the biggest names in the world would have ran from.
Would have ran.
And they did.
run
They
from
did run
it.
from
They
it.
did
And
run
they did.
from
I,
it.
you know what I mean?
They did run from it. Shoot.
Yeah.
They said flat out said no. I don't want that pressure that New York brings.
And you know what I mean? The lowest lows and bounce right back. So
Yep. Yep. And when he was at his lowest, they were like, "See, this is why." You know what I mean? But didn't have too much to say when he bounced back though.
He told the fans to shut the F up. And he bounced back from that, man. He done been through everything.
He did. He told him. I mean,
You know what the messed up thing is? I
wish-
wasn't even mad at him.
I still wish that he would have just stuck with his guns and not, obviously the team was like, you probably told him you got to apologize, this and that. But
Yeah, I'm with you, Sam. We were talking.
Just
He
stick
should
with your guns, man.
the press conference.
All right.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple fans. That's it. He should have never expressed nothing. But it is what it is.
Nah, he should have
Nah,
done it.
I mean, but afterwards, I think
remember
he should have just
when
been
when he did that, it was it was in the midst of him playing well. And his reaction was to them cheering after booing him early in the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, don't cheer me now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still just wish he would have stuck with it, been like, you know what? I said it. Here's why I said it.
let me
I'ma
down
go out
like
and
J.
ball.
Cole.
You know what I mean?
And the other
I'ma go
thing
out and
too
ball.
is like that's why you got to watch videos. No, but if I think Carmelo Anthony had expressed something that I never heard before. It was, I don't know if it was on his podcast or another podcast. He said he had something similar.
Yeah.
He wasn't using it as the Randall thing, but similar happened that he did something. The fans were getting on him, or he wasn't happy with the way the fans were treating the team, and he was doing something in spite of the fans.
He
too,
did.
but it never came out because
No,
he ain't
I
going to say,
remember it.
yeah, that was for y'all. Like,
Well, I don't
And-
know if it came out in a press conference, but I remember the fan, he was getting booed. He hit a shot, right, in a tight game, and they started cheering, and he was like, no, he was waving his hand, telling them, don't cheer me. Right? I remember it.
there's the difference. See, that to me, I mean, is almost similar to the thumbs down. The difference is Carmelo didn't announce it. And
Yeah,
announce
in the press
the reason why he was doing it.
And I was just about to say, Randall doubled down like in the press conference.
Yeah.
Because didn't they cut the press? Like they didn't. Oh no, they just stopped having him doing post game after that.
Yeah.
Like he ain't do no post
He ain't
games
do
after.
no post games. They took him away. I mean, Randall was down bad. He was down bad. Like his hair was all over the place. He looked stressed out. That joint was rough on him, man. I know it was.
It's like you ever look at the pictures of damn near any president where they get elected and then like two years into their
later,
term?
right?
Right.
Yo, Randall was stressed during that time, but he made it through.
Yeah.
He made it through. Yeah. So I'm
Yo,
excited.
man, it was
man.
so bad. Remember Kevin Martin? Like, what was it on? No, Kenyon Martin was saying, "Why is he kissing his kids?" And stuff.
Kissing his wife.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the
Yeah.
first thing you gonna do is kiss your kids.
Right.
If that was my teammate, like word.
That was the wildest thing
That
I've
was-
heard somebody say about another teammate. What?
Right.
Yeah,
Because he
that was
ran over and
crazy.
gave his. That was crazy. I was like, what is Kenyon
That's the
Martin talking
level
about?
that Julius Randle's been just dragged, man. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but he's still here.
Yeah, and you can't say I'll never say through no fault of his own. You know what I mean? But
Right.
the like again, the beauty of it is overcoming it, bouncing back from it.
Yeah.
Like that, like again, not too many people would be able to do that here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's meant for it.
Man, he's got to get some. He's got to get some props for that. How'd you guys feel about the whole Brunson named captain ceremony thing?
Yeah, I thought it was over the top.
I thought they heard Gilbert Arenas podcast and they trying to boost his popularity. You know what I mean? Get him into that all-star starter. You know what I mean? Like they trying to say we got one. You know what I mean? We got one here. Look, he's proving it with the numbers. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just didn't understand. I don't know. I don't remember. Have they done that before? So I
never
just
seen
didn't
that.
understand it.
I couldn't tell you, but remember, but also you got to look at who the last captains were for the Knicks. They weren't like the biggest named players on the team. Lance Thomas and whoever else was before. Kurt Thomas might have been a captain too. I don't remember all the names. I didn't even remember Carmelo Anthony was a captain.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't think
With
it was
Lance
captain.
Thomas.
Yeah, Lance Thomas was
Co-captains, huh?
It was 3 of them. It's
Really?
usually, I mean, if you go back, most of the years there's 3 captains.
I see. I don't even remember. Wow.
But we haven't had one since 2012, 13, something like that.
Mm. They could have made, if they would have, listen, let me tell you something. I'm glad that Brunson's the captain because I think he personifies what it is to be a New York Knick right now. He's got the heart. Listen, if Brunson was 6'8", 6'9", he would be the best player in this league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But whatever. Either way. But if they would have did something where they made like the Villanova 4, the captains.
Yeah, I mean, like me as a player, like if I was Randall, I wouldn't have said nothing, but inside I would have felt a little way, like, damn, I've been taking darts all these years. You know what I'm saying? I've been slapped around. I've been doing everything. I was here when we had 17 wins or whatever, and now, I'm still here. I've made 2 All-NBA teams, 3 All-Star teams. Give me
2
something.
things, Sim. When Melo, before they gave Melo a captaincy, there was a big deal made more about him not being a captain than there was when they made him a captain.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing about what you're saying is I would agree with you if I thought Randall thought it was undeserved. You know what I mean? And I think there's no way he feels like it's undeserved for Brunson. Yeah. And then the captaincy is really a highlight of your leadership, right? Mm-hmm. And if we're being honest, I think Randall will say that's maybe an area where he is not the best. Like he leads, like he spoke about it. He tries to lead with his action on the court and his play and his work ethic. You know what I mean? But he's not that.
Yeah,
vocal,
but I'm not even talking
leader.
About Brunson being named the captain.
True.
What'd you say?
But more so.
What you say, Steph?
No, she said Brunson's not either.
A verbal,
right? But I'm not even talking about him being named the captain, right? You get on the team. They who knows? Maybe they did an internal vote with the players. I don't know. I'm not even talking about
how it's celebrated.
Yeah.
How it's presented.
Yeah. How's it presented? How I don't know. Me personally, I would be like, damn, I've been ran through the mud for this team.
Yeah, it looked like he got like the nomination for the Republican. I mean, the Democratic Party. The way that they was carrying it. He was Biden.
Players elect.
Yeah, he had on a presidential suit on, and he had his hair pulled back in the braids, and I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that was different, but.
But even if you watch out, you could tell that's not him. You know what I mean? Like that's not Brunson. You know what I mean? Like the Knicks made that big deal about it. Yeah, and I think you can hear like in the podcast when Josh jokes where he's like, "Oh, my captain," you know what I mean? Like he's just making a joke out of it. And I think Brunson internally laughs at that too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But I think even for the Knicks had 2 press conferences within a month. So I'm like, are they changing their media, stances? They're going to be a press conference by Leon Rose before the season start. I mean, are they opening themselves up to the media more now?
Well, maybe not them. Oh, I'm sorry, Eru. I was going to say maybe not them, but at first I thought this was a little weird. Everybody's doing it now, but it's just something to get used to. But I also maybe think that this is a positive. This roommates podcast with Hart and Brunson and showing how they can conduct themselves and still while playing basketball, and people are entertained by it and they like it. Maybe that's giving the organization a different look at being in the media and saying stuff, and it's not a detriment to the team, and they're not saying the wrong thing. They know how to carry themselves. My fault. What were you going to say?
It's 2 sides though. I think they trust number one, they trust Brunson enough. I don't know how they feel about Hart on the podcast. If anybody might slip up and say something a little too flagrant, but that's also why I think it's pre-recorded and obviously pre-recorded. You know what I mean? So
It's calculated.
I'm pretty sure they got to scan through it, and I think you better cut this little part.
I'm pretty sure.
You think the Knicks scan through their personal podcast? Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's someone's job.
Wow.
I'll put it like that.
Look at the Knicks podcast they've been putting out recently, just with like the legends talking stuff. It's kind of almost in the same format as the roommates. You know what I'm saying? So I think they might have taken something from that and realized that the fans really want this knowledge. The kind of like footnotes and stuff. We kind of want that. We don't necessarily want all this deep dive and reporting that we've had in the past. We kind of want the footnotes because we already know what's going on. We don't need that stuff. We just kind of need like the light footnotes to keep things flowing throughout the year and stuff.
Yeah.
And they see all of us on this panel having so much fun doing podcasts, and they like, hey.
Well, we're the ones breaking it down. So let us do the heavy lifting. As far as talking about the game and stuff like that.
Right. And Old Head said, agreed. Randall could feel some type of way for not being named the co-captain unless he didn't want it, and that could be too.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't want any parts of it.
I think Julius definitely benefit a lot from Brunson, man. Just from Brunson's presence being able to take over and stuff. Julius was playing really, really well before he bust his shoulder, and then there was a couple times where like teams were attacking Julius, and Julius was doing like this.
Yeah.
He kind of just learned that to walk away, I guess. Through this new culture that we're building here, through Brunson, things have changed a lot since he's been here. So I just think he just tipped his hat, and just give it, respect due to who it belongs to.
Yeah,
and they couldn't make him a captain because now that's a negotiating tactic and contract extension.
That's true. No doubt about that.
Yeah,
I think Randall learned a lot. And he, from being, one of the main guys on the team, he learned that other teams are going to try to attack any weakness that he has, even if it's his temper, right? And so that's why you see him, like, okay, I'm backing off because my team needs me out here on the floor. Maturing.
Yeah.
Maturing a little bit. And I think I was telling Tony the other day, we were talking, I think that Randall, like, because he had to come up from being, basically a bench player and then, became an All-NBA player, I think he still feels like he has stuff to prove, because I don't think a lot of even Knicks fans just believe that he's a true All-NBA guy. I think they believe he got there because, well, this guy was hurt or that guy was hurt.
Default.
You know what I'm saying? Default. Well, they built the team just around him, so of course, he's going to be, I think there's a lot of that type of stuff going on, and I think he still feels like he has stuff to prove about the type of player that he can be, and not necessarily putting up stats, but proving that, I can be a team player, I can, play with whoever's out there on the floor, and I think he takes that personal, and just wants to prove, to everybody that, he's a, he is an All-NBA player, he is an All-Star player, and I can also play with another All-NBA player, and with a team of guys.
Yeah, Sam, I hope you're right. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just gonna say there's a bunch of guys on this team. All these guys are kind of self-made and built themselves. And like Brunson, you could argue that, you know what I mean? Like he had his year where he was the guy on the championship team, but he was also a role player on one of the championships in college. So, you know what I mean? Like, and that he came into the league as not the guy, you know what I mean? Like second round pick. So he built his way into where he is. And then you got aspirations with OG, McCall, and you know what I mean, so forth. But I'm sorry, Queen.
No, I was going to say, I hope Sim is right. I want Randall to come in not feeling a lot of pressure, but I want him to come in as himself. Like, I don't want him to come in feeling like, oh, they did this without me, so I'm going to feel my way around and see where I fit in. Nah, This team is built perfectly for Randall and Brunson to stir the drink.
Yep.
Those are the ones who could create for themselves and create for others. And those other guys play off of them. Now, Mikal, I still think I think he's in a Brunson Randall mold too, but I got to see him every day before I put him there. Like I saw Randall every day. I've seen Randall every day. I've seen Brunson saw them every day. I know that what those guys can do. So I want Randall to come in being his usual self, and not coming in tiptoeing around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And game 3 OG.
Well, game 3 OG in terms of his mind.
Without the injury.
Many shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a lot to look forward to, and there's gonna be a lot to unpack over the next month before training camp even gets here. And once training camp gets here, man, it's gonna be on.
Last month dragged. Watch this month fly by.
Right. I mean, it's
Of course, you know how it is.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, because I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready
I'm saying. I'm ready too. Shoot. I'm ready. I'm real ready.
Speaking of ready, man, a lot of people have been asking about like, get-togethers as far as like traveling to see the team and stuff. I see somebody actually put it, I think Coach Bell put it in there, who's coming out for Atlanta and Charlotte. I was planning on doing Charlotte, man, but their game is going to be on Black Friday, man. So that kind of like killed that for me.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I think Freezy's doing something. He got anybody out there. Freezy is doing something out there.
Okay.
It's in Charlotte, right?
Yeah, it's in Charlotte.
Yeah, he's doing something a couple days. So
Yeah, I was trying to make it, but I can't do it. I gotta go to a wedding a couple days later in Atlanta. So one thing at a time. I don't get out that. I got my get out of jail free card. I can only use it,
Right.
Yeah, I'm working like a slave, man. So my wife can't tell me nothing, man. I'm going where I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? But but that's crazy because it's the day after Thanksgiving, so that's really rough.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
tough.
a 12:00 game too.
Right. Oof.
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, Freezy gonna have to provide me of Thanksgiving if I go.
Right.
You know what? If he does do that, then there might be something we can
Have a Thanksgiving dinner with Freezy, then we're gonna go to the game.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people getting some things going on. Watch parties and games and everything going on. I'm sure you'll be hearing about them pretty soon.
Are you gonna try to get like the home opener thing going on?
The representative called me the last couple of days. I got to call her and see talk to her and see what's happening. I don't know what them sweet prices are gonna look like, but
I don't even know
It's gonna get crazy.
like.
Yeah, me and Queen already said it's gonna be a lot of watch parties this year.
that's
A lot of watch parties because I already heard they said that and this was early for any game. The cheapest ticket in the whole building was like $144. That was for any game, anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, they got to pay OG back. They got to pay OG.
Yeah. Ticket price is gonna be off the charts this year.
Yeah.
They're gonna
be
pay for that
crazy.
captaincy
Right.
thing they
It's
did,
gonna
or
be
every
crazy.
step party they threw for him.
We'll look at it.
I wonder
and
if
see
they're gonna
what's
actually
going
put a C on his jersey because they don't always do it.
They will.
They
I could have sworn I seen one already.
I seen
I could have sworn I seen one already. and that's just merchandise. You know what I mean? Like now I gotta get the one with the C. Nah, I'm getting a new player this year. I already got my Brunson one. And I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm not saying Nova Knicks no more. I'm saying the New York Wildcats because I'm not excluding Randall. So
Okay.
Okay. All right.
that's my thing. New York Wildcats.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get up out of here. And I'll likely be back on tomorrow night. I'm looking to be, for the rest of this month, go Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If I can, on Fridays, I gotta do some traveling on Fridays, so it might be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But I'll be back on tomorrow because I'm traveling this Friday. Yeah. And next week it'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday because I'm traveling next Friday. So
What's
Good
what's
to
up
have
with
you
this?
back, Sam.
Just
Yeah.
keep us posted, man. Like I
just
said,
just keep you posted. What'd you say, Hero?
No, I didn't want to cut Ronald. That's true. Like, happy to see you back, Sam.
Hey,
You know,
I'm glad.
you're the father for a reason,
glad
man.
to
But
be
we
back.
all basically doing this stuff because of you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Appreciate it.
yeah, we can't have
glad to be back.
podcasts without you out here doing podcasts, man. So,
Yeah, it was just a busy summer. A lot of things
And they-
going on, a lot of changes.
they ask about you every time we go live.
Right.
He coming, man. He be back. He be back.
Yeah, I want to be like the Cedric the Entertainer in that Martin movie. I'm so happy to have you back, Sim. Let me tell you about the man you've made me. Make this my spotlight. Let me tell y'all about who I am now.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Up out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Came back like you ain't miss a beat.
yeah, rip the scab off, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, it's been a
Sworn
busy
in,
summer, man.
the chat going crazy.
Yeah, the regular suspects popped up in there today. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Gotta
fellas.
get back in the swing.
Peace, Queen. I know it's late for you.
Yeah, all right,
I got
Steph.
it.
All right, Queen.
All right.
I'll tell you, I had a hell of a day. I had a flat this morning. Well,
Man.
a flat last night. Right when I was going to get my daughter.